Unholy Death Knight is absolutely pumping right now. It is pretty much top tier across the board according to the quote-unquote pros, but more importantly, it is really, really fun to play. Let me tell you, I'm usually someone that prefers melee warrior-like classes, and I really feel like they did a fantastic job blending a plate-wearing, two-handed greatsword-wielding warrior archetype mixed with a necromancer. It's been really fun, and obviously the class is performing very well. I'm a little bit newer to the game, so I had to actually go in, practice, learn, and one of the things that I noticed was that, man, it wasn't the easiest to find a basic guide that would just teach me how the class functions, especially when I was trying to figure out whether or not I would even enjoy the class. So as someone that has recently come into this game, learned this from scratch with the aid of my chat, of course, and some other players, I thought I would put together a condensed video to explain how this class plays for those of you who may be kind of curious as to what you can expect from it. Maybe you're thinking about playing it. So we're gonna get right into this one, guys. Be sure to follow me on Twitch, by the way. I'm streaming daily. We've got a bunch of WoW content that we have been doing to and through the launch. We are planning on doing the heroic raid pretty soon with a group of non-WoW streamers, but I digress. Okay, so let's get straight into this. So what you're gonna notice here on my bar on the bottom are these skills. Because this is directed towards newer players, I'm going to refer to these skills as their respective numbers. But to go through this, in case you need to pause, I will just go through this number here. My number 1 skill is Outbreak. Number 2 is Death Coil. Number 3 is Epidemic. 4 is Festering Strike. Scourge Strike on 5. This is a Death Grip. This is a Death Charge. This is a Chains of Ice on 8. Soul Reaper on 9. And Purify on 0. Death Strike on Dash. And Equal Sign on Mind Freeze. Okay? Now, that's obviously a lot. We're not going to go too much into this other than just these two. S1 and S2. Shift 1, Shift 2, which is Army of the Dead and Dark Transformation. Now, again, I know that's a lot, but we're going to break this down so that it's much easier to understand. The main focus are the first 5 skills right here, okay? And we can kind of separate this into like 4 different groups, and the first group is the most important. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, this is for newer players, so I'm just going to go off of the number that is on the bar, the bind here. Because some people, if I say like Epidemic, people that are watching this, some of you guys might just forget the name. You're like, which one is Epidemic again? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So when you open up on a mob, you're going to open with an Outbreak. This is a dot. You can track it right here. And on my bar, I can track it right here. There's 2 dots, essentially, right? So what you're going to notice is you're going to notice you have a blue bar and you've got these runes, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 charges, and then up to 100 blue energy, okay? This is called runic power, but for the sake of making this easier to understand, I'm just going to call this energy. Okay, energy and then runes, right? So you apply this. You always want to apply this dot on the target, and you want to make sure it refreshes, right? You've got about 17 seconds here. And then the next batch that you need to learn is Death Coil and Epidemic. Death Coil, think of it as a skill that does single target damage and burns your energy, okay? And then think of number 3 as the same thing, but just an AoE version, burns energy, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay, so you're burning your energy with either single target 2 or AoE 3, and then the next thing you do is Festering Strike, which is your 4, which is a melee skill. Boom, 4, and then if you use 4 again, you're gonna notice you apply a debuff. Here on the bottom right corner, you see Unholy Cannons plagues deal their damage 35% faster, right? So pretty self-explanatory. You want to apply those buffs on. Another thing you're gonna notice when you use your 4s, you're gonna get these charges, you're gonna get these charges, these lesser ghoul charges, and you have up to 8. Also, keep in mind, when I used my 4 ability, it burned my rune. Okay, so to kind of back up here, I use my plague. I can burn my energy with either 2 or 3, one being single target form, one being an AoE form. Okay, and then I also want to use my 4, which applies this debuff on the target, allows me to do more damage, and it also gives me charges of lesser ghoul that you can see right here. Currently, I have 8 charges. So these 4 you always want up, and you're gonna get these 4 debuffs up by simply pressing 1 and 4. So now that you have all 4 of these up, you are going to spend with Scourge Strike. I use my 5 ability here, and you see how it's burning this burning this, burning this, burning this. And then if I use my 4 again, it's going to give me a stack, but I cannot use my 4 unless I have runes here. I use my 4, bam, I get more stacks here. And you're pretty much just playing this back and forth, managing your energy versus your runes, because your abilities that burn runes give you energy back. So let me just use my 2 again. 2, 2, 2, 2. I've got no energy here. I've got all my runes. Let me use Scourge Strike. I burn a rune, got energy back. Scourge Strike, got energy back. Scourge Strike, got energy back. Scourge Strike, I got energy, right? And that is really the basic bread and butter gameplay, the basic rotation to this. Obviously, there's some more stuff to it, but you're just going back and forth managing that. The other thing to note is you might have seen some green graphics that show up here. Let me show you what those are. So as we open, I've got full energy, full runes. I apply my dot. I want to use my 4, my Festering Strike, to get charges and apply this. I've got max energy. I want to burn my energy, but you're going to notice I've got these green things. These green things allow me to use either my 2 or 3, which are my energy burning skills, but they cost less energy. You see how much energy that costs when I use the energy consuming skill without the bars? When I have the bars up, they consume less energy. So you want to prioritize using the energy consuming skills, my 2 and 3, when those green marks are up. So you obviously don't want to overstack it. You can have up to 2 charges of that. Now that we've gone over the basic rotation, a couple of things you need to know. The other 2 sections or segments to this, which is much easier to understand, would be now the 9 and the 0 skill. Very simple. This 0 skill, just think of it as an attack that burns a rune. Okay, I've got 2 more charges of this. Minion goes out and attacks it. Okay, and this deals a lot of damage. This deals more damage than these over here, okay, in and of itself. Okay, so obviously you want to prioritize using this. And then the Soul Reaper you can use only on targets below 35%, or after you use the next skill that I'm going to talk about here in a second. So just think of this as big dick damage and also good damage, like priority damage and big dick damage. Now, one thing to know about Soul Reaper is that when you use Soul Reaper, it automatically consumes all the charges of your Putrefy. So your 9 automatically consumes all the charges on your 0, right? So if this is available for me to use and I have charges here, I just use this and it's going to dump all my charges there. Pretty straightforward. So the way you get to this to proc if the target is not under 35% is by using this ability, Dark Transformation, this S2 ability. Now S1 and S2, these are your summons. This is like your big damage, okay, on top of 9 and 0, right? So S1, bam, this is Army of the Dead. Bunch of minions come in, right? Longer cooldown, and with it you always want to line up your Dark Transformation. And as you can see, it procced my Soul Reaper. Now I can use Soul Reaper, and it obviously dumped the Putrefy. Also, it's important to know that Dark Transformation resets the cooldown on Dark Reaper. So this is on cooldown. If I were to use Dark Transformation, excuse me, my S2 right now, this ability, if I were to use this right now, it would reset the cooldown on Soul Reaper so I can use it again. Okay. The last thing is, it's just really simple here, just to touch on the utility here. This 6 is a grapple hook. Okay, I obviously cannot grapple these guys here. Nothing's happening, but a grapple comes... So, or like a grapple, sorry, excuse me, not a grapple hook, but like a chain pull, like a hook where I'm like Scorpion pulling him towards me. This is really nice to pick up adds and group people together. And 7 is just a basic movement ability that's really nice. 8 is just like, it's a shackle that slows the enemy. So, you know, it's not like it's utility. It's obviously very, very good, but it's utility. My S3, S4, S5, these are just basic defenses. Not going to even waste your time with that. And the only self heal that you pretty much have, like the big main heal that you have, is your Death Strike, which when you hit a target, you heal back. So generally you have to kill a target. It starts sparkling. When you use the Death Strike, when it starts sparkling, you get a lot of health back. Really nice to use. And then my equal sign is just a ranged kick or interrupt for spellcasters. Pretty straightforward. I hope that made sense, guys. I hope that helps. I'm obviously not a WoW main content creator, and I'm not a pro by any stretch, but I've been having a very good time playing this game so far, and I've been really enjoying this class. So I thought I would put together this quick little video to help explain how it's played. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and see you guys in the next video.